Hi, in this video I'll be talking about the clutch master cylinder on the Honda Accord 2.2 diesel Mark 7. So for a little while now I've been experiencing an issue with the pedal, where if the pedal is depressed for too long or I'm on the bottom point for too long, then the pedal would sink and then it would struggle to then release back up. So then I have to manually lift the pedal up with my foot. Another issue I had was changing gear. As I was changing gear and lifting my foot back off the clutch, the pedal would actually sort of stay stuck down. So again, I then had to lift the pedal up to either to carry on cruising or accelerating, ready to change for the next gear. So it became more and more of a problem. It got worse and worse as the days went on. So I had a look on the car and noticed that both the slave and the master cylinder had been changed at some point. When, I don't know, I don't have any paperwork for it. So I went ahead and bought some new ones ready to fit. So this introduction is a little bit later than the actual job, purely because the weather wasn't great at the time, time wasn't on our side, and I didn't want to keep my friend Danny for too long, as he was giving me a hand with the job. So yeah, let's start with where the master cylinder is and how to remove it, and I'll then show you the problem. Right, so looking in the engine bay, you want to go towards the back of the bulkhead. Did turn the torch on for this, and you can see the cylinder just there on the bulkhead. On the top of the cylinder is a large union, and then next to that is a rubber hose with a pinch type clip on it. So those would need to be removed. The union is obviously the feed, and then the rubber hose is to the reservoir. So let's back up from there. So the reservoir is here at the top. It's a very small reservoir, so while you're bleeding, you will need to keep an eye on the level, because that will go down. So on the top there's like a brake pipe, that's a 10mm, and the larger union actually stays on the cylinder. You can remove it all in one, but there's like a little horseshoe clip. My camera's not going to focus in on it, but there's a horseshoe clip that holds the union in place. So you can remove the horseshoe clip, or it's like a U-shaped clip, and that larger union will come out. But mine was pretty seized on the original, so we left it in place and then removed it on a vise. So yeah. So inside on the pedal assembly there's a pin that goes through the master cylinder bracket with a R-clip, or it might be a split pin on yours, I'm not too sure, but the pin will come out and then the pedal assembly will then pull forward, releasing itself from the bracket coming from the slave. So you've got the bottom nut here, easily accessible, but the other one is not. I don't know if my camera can pick it up. No, so basically it's in the opposite corner, just up there, pretty much above the bracket. You can't really see it from here, but so you imagine this bottom one here is at, say, I don't know, 5 o'clock. The other one's going to be at 11. So opposite corner. So once the nuts are off, the whole assembly will then come out. So here's a better look of the master cylinder when it's off the car. This is my old one. So as you can imagine, if that is on the car, obviously the two studs and then at an angle. Horseshoe clip or U-clip, I don't even know what you call it. Clip goes through there around the union. This is the bracket. What I did notice was mine had been cut. So normally the adjustment would be sort of up to about here, and I did get a local garage to bleed the clutch last week, purely because I didn't have the time. It was just easier for them to do it, and they might have picked up on something. So they were the ones that picked up on this cut thread, and it became apparent when we fitted the replacement. Curiosity got the better of us, and we removed these 3 6mm thread or 10mm headed bolts, and underneath there was just an O-ring and a circlip. So no idea whether this is used on something else and they just blank it. I'm not too sure, but it's solid underneath. I'm sure someone in the comment section will be able to enlighten us. So yeah, fitting was just the reversal of the removal. When it came to the pedal bracket, I think we'd done it halfway. Tried to bleed it first, and then we done the free play on the pedal. Once we got a bit of resistance in the pedal, we then adjusted it, and then carried on bleeding it. There was quite a lot of air to begin with, but yeah, we got there in the end. So before we changed the cylinder, well, when I was sourcing the replacement, I ordered a TRW master cylinder from a supplier at my work, and it came through as if it had been fitted. So there's a foam gasket that goes on this side of the flange. That was all dirty. The actual body had dirt. You know when your hands get greasy and oily and you touch it and then it leaves like this, well, dirty mark. So that's a bit strange. This should be a brand new unit. So send that one back, got another one exactly the same. Sent that one back, ordered the third one exactly the same. Bear in mind, the third one came from another store further away, so there was definitely no chance of it being a repeat unit. I thought, well, that's a bit strange. Supplier couldn't tell me why. There was no bulletin from TRW to say there was an issue, so I thought, well, I'll just fit it anyway. Also ordered a ADL blueprint one, on the off chance. The blueprint one happened to be 4 times the price, but it was a good job I did, because in the end I needed it. So what the issue is, on the TRW one, where the main feed is and the union goes in, the base of the union should sit flush on this part of the master cylinder. On the TRW one, the hole inside isn't quite big enough to allow the union to sit down. So here's a clip from the night when we fitted it, showing it. Right, so this is the TRW master cylinder. So the seal has been removed. So just going to put the union on. So, and that is as far as it goes. So then if we take this union out, and then this is the ADL blueprint one. So, and then there you go, flush. So I think the reason why these TRW ones are being returned and not sold is because this fitting is like the hole is too small. So yeah, if you're going to change the master cylinder on your Honda Accord 2.2 diesel, go for the ADL blueprint. So yeah, so there we go, that's the issue with the TRW. So don't buy that. Make sure you buy the ADL blueprint. I'm sure other brands may or may not be the same. I'm not too sure. I've only got experience with these two. So yeah, if you're going to change the master cylinder, make sure it's an ADL blueprint one, because we know it works.